so very, very much. Now, I want to explain something to you right off the bat. When a young person managing a program talks about how long they have admired you, you begin to think how long you've been around. And increasingly, I'm running into young people, so, oh, Miss Waters, I remember when you came to our class, I was in the 3rd grade. Thank you so very much. I'm delighted to be here. And we've had a number of workshops, and my staff came to me and said, you know, we've just got to go over and get on this discussion about the progressive agenda. And of course, it is so important that we all understand that as human beings, as individuals, participating in this so-called democracy and this society, we have a right to realize our full potential, no matter who we are and from whence we come, what our sexual preference is, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And we've got to claim our rights.
That's right.
We've got to claim it. How do we do that? First of all, we have got to be comfortable with the notion that we have a right not only to realize our full potential, but to participate fully in this society. I've been focused on economic security for a while now. I am tired of seeing poverty. I am tired of seeing young people hanging out on these corners in America with no prospects for any kind of career or success. And I'm tired of the racism and discrimination that continues to take place in our society that keeps people from realizing that full potential. And so, in claiming our place in this world, we've got to use the words that people don't want us to use. They don't want you to talk about race. They say you're playing the race card. Give me that card, I've got to play. We've got to confront it. And when we confront it and we stand up where we are, no matter where we are, whatever workplace we're in, we'll begin to break down these walls of exclusion and discrimination. Let me just say this. Those of us who come from this progressive, liberal, or whatever you want to call it, perspective, those of us who have been working all of our lives on progressive issues, find ourselves somewhat isolated in our own, say, Democratic Party, where we have people who claim to be Democrats, but when we talk about progressive issues, when we talk about engaging the Democratic Party in ways we think it should be engaged, that's why we belong to it, all of a sudden, they're talking about how we've got to embrace the other side. Well, I want to tell you, I have respect for people with different political agendas, but you can't tell me that I need to embrace you when you emerge every day as my enemy. I can't embrace you. We've got a lot of work to do. Unfortunately, we're at a time in the history of this country when they're talking about post-racial this, post that. But I want to tell you, we have a lot of work to do, despite the fact there are those who say, oh, we have more members in the Congressional Black Caucus, the bilingual caucus, and on and on and on. We still have a lot of work to do. We've got a lot of work to do because our positioning is not realizing the final results that we should have realized in this society. We've got to not only develop ways by which we can have economic security, we've got to develop ways by which we can openly talk about the issue and make demands on the elected officials. I mean, how long are we going to ask for we're going to wait for don't ask, don't tell?
Right.
It's not easy, is it?
No.
It's not easy. You don't want to step on too many toes, do you?
Right.
You'd better put your foot down and clamp your foot down on somebody's foot. Because if you don't, it's not going to happen. I am pleased that this discussion is taking place this weekend at this legislative conference. I want you to come out of here with some direction. I want you to talk about how we engage our elected officials more. We have many elected officials who would be and could be, but nobody's really after them. Right. Nobody's pushing them. Nobody's talking about why they support them. We get away with resolutions and commendations and weddings and parties and kissing babies, and most of the time we travel around, nobody's asking us about any agenda, let alone a progressive agenda. So we've got to start talking to the elected officials. I'm glad that you're here. Send a message back to us. Get involved more with the Black Caucus on a regular basis. We have a tri-caucus. The tri-caucus has potential power, lots of it. And so we want you to address not only the Black Caucus, the Asian Caucus, the Latino Caucus. Together we're powerful and we can get a lot done. So let's keep going. Thank you.